The thread was removed by the moderators of Our Politics. Shout out to me for being able to cover that one before the thread was deleted. So it's the day after the election, and as I was having my breakfast this morning, I was checking Our Politics for a bit of fun. And I didn't even have time to click on the first thread. I just had to read the title to know that this was a topic that was going to give me content for a video. Before we click on the topic, one thing I want to highlight that I did not highlight in my last Our Politics video was the idea that this Reddit is, I believe, heavily botted. I don't know enough about this subreddit to know if the comments are botted, but I have been seeing very weird like ratios on threads that are not even that old. Because the election just happened, these likes and this amount of comments may be legitimate, but if you come here when there's really nothing going on in politics, you'll see very weird like and comment ratios compared to how interesting the topic is. Like, I think this topic's fairly interesting, so it could be legit. Although I would still venture to guess that maybe like half of the upvotes are botted in some way. The reason why I believe there's so much botting going on is because when you click on these threads, usually there will be a link that you have to follow to go to their website, and then on their website you're going to see advertisements for like a podcast, or there's a small advertisement over here in the corner, so this one's not too egregious. I did check the website on mobile, as most people are probably doing, and there are a lot more ads though. You can pretty much just guess based on the title what this article is about. There was a Korean feminist movement that essentially told women to close their legs, and now American women are following suit for the next 4 years, which is quite a long time. I think some ladies got to be careful about that one, because if you're getting to your mid-20s, you're going to start pushing yourself into the danger zone where having kids starts to be less and less viable. And that's pretty much all the depth there is to the article. Does that deserve 11k upvotes? Your guess is as good as mine. They do go out of their way to link some TikToks though, and we can check those out.
All I have to say is good luck getting laid. Especially in Florida, because me and my girlies are participating in the 4B movement. That's my next plan. And I'm dead fucking serious.
So she's basically going along with the movement, and I gotta say she's cute. Personally, I've not dated a white girl ever, so her doing this would not affect me, and I'll elaborate a bit more as to why I think that is after we watch a few more of these. Based on my dating history though, her little strike thing would not affect me, and currently I'm not even in the country. I'm in Vietnam, and somebody in my comment section was calling me a expat for wanting to live as a digital nomad in Vietnam. I've been here for 4 months, and I've only been on 2 dates. Even if you're not dating at all, there's a lot of benefits to working remote in Vietnam. The cost of living is crazy low. I'm paying only about $360 for rent, and I have a pretty decent apartment in a decent area. That girl looked pretty young, so I think she can afford to withhold for 4 years, but I'm not sure about this girl. I can't really tell how old she is, but regardless, let's listen to what she has to say.
I'm gonna be honest, I was very blindsided by the results this morning. I've decided that cigarettes don't count today, and I honestly might go get a tattoo.
I'm not sure what she's talking about with the cigarettes don't count thing, but my first critique of the video is why open it up with such an emotional voice like you just got done crying. You can gather yourself, come back and, make a coherent video, or at least that's what you would do if you want to come off as, a stronger person. I think she's doing it this way so she can play into people's emotional side, which comes off as a bit manipulative to me.
But I also have decided that for the next 4 years, I am going to abstain from schmex with men. And funny enough, I actually just broke up with my boyfriend a handful of days before the election.
Wait, so she just broke up with her boyfriend and she said she was going to abstain from schmex with men. So she might be going for girls now, and maybe this is her coming out video. Good for her.
I actually just broke up with my boyfriend, and it had nothing to do with the anticipation of Donald Trump winning this election. It had everything to do with problems within our relationship and massive differences between who we were as people, which was unfortunate and sad.
So the breakup had nothing to do with the election. It just so happened they found out they were totally different people a few days before the election. I find the timing of that very interesting.
I wish him well, though. But yeah, as a woman, my bodily autonomy matters, and this is my way to exercise sovereignty over that. So I highly encourage any other women that are single, and care about progressing women's rights and still fighting for our bodily autonomy, to do the same. Delete your dating apps, because we can come together in community, and if you need somebody to cuddle or hold your hand or give you a kiss, I bet you one of your girlfriends would do it, okay? And you don't even have to really be gay, okay? It's okay to have a lot of platonic love for the next 4 years.
Yeah, I agree, dude. It's totally okay to cuddle with the homies and, give them a kiss or something.
I think we can look to South Korea and the 4B movement as a point of inspiration for us women in America right now, because I'm astounded that we still don't have a woman president. And I'm very disappointed. But funny enough, as an American, I don't think that Donald Trump stole the election. I don't. It's just a reminder that we have to pay very close attention right now to legislation that's going to be written and ushered to be passed through and signed into law. We have to show up for these protests that we care about when it comes to, like, no more cop cities and really, again, fighting the good fight. We still need to do boycotts for these large corporations.
Wait, what is she talking about? No more cop cities? Like, she doesn't want police in her cities? Or, I don't know, maybe I'm misinterpreting that. How else can you interpret that, though?
That are Zionists. Like,
the
there's
Z
still
buzzword.
so much work, no matter who's in office, to do to fix this country, and we can do it. We just can't give up. We have to keep going. So, sending love. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette.
Gonna go smoke a cigarette. Oh, well, that's not a girl I'd be into anyways. Okay, so she's playing in music in this one, not talking at all. But I will say, A, she looks very young, and B, her face looks a bit round. And if the face looks round, then other things are probably very round. So yeah, and that's not a girl I'd be interested in anyways. And wow, that's actually the last video the article links. There's some more text here talking more about the 4B movement. And as with all movements like this, there was some backlash in Korea. There's a term for women like this, kimchi women, to characterize college-educated women as selfish, vain, and exploitive of their partners. My personal take on this whole movement is I think it's actually a good thing that liberal women are learning to close their legs. I think a lot of liberal women would be a lot happier in life if their fathers taught them this saying, a good key can open many locks, but a not so good lock is opened by many keys. I personally am not looking for a girl that's a virgin necessarily, but I'm definitely not looking for a girl that has a body count of like 100. So after reading the thread, the Redditors came down in the comment section and MAGA men are saying, your body, my choice. So this is what she's referring to. Nick Fuentes is not going viral. His tweet got 1 million views. The girl that's dunking on him is going viral. She got 27 million views. Donald Trump did podcasts and interviews with a lot of conservative influencers, and Nick Fuentes was not on that list. I'm sure Donald Trump would disavow him, so it's a pretty big stretch to call an extremist like Nick Fuentes MAGA. And this person's saying over 50% of non-college educated white women, so, you know, I guess he's saying they're stupid. And by the way, he's saying that. I'm not saying it. I went to college for 2 years and it was a complete waste of time, but I became pro in League of Legends and I started doing YouTube, so, you know, I'm not everyone, but Elon will just make female robots to bypass the need. Dude, that would actually be amazing. If Elon did this, women would have to step their game up a lot. And women would come back with, oh, well, he's going to make the male versions too. Well, does the male version go out and work their ass off and pay all the bills? I think women are going to have to wait a few more years for that upgrade. Strike against who? Were y'all effing a bunch of MAGA before now? Well, I'm a MAGA, and no, they weren't effing me, that's for sure. When I was in America, in Las Vegas at least, I was somewhat active on Tinder. Like, I would just auto swipe it every few weeks or so. And the only matches I would get in Las Vegas were, let's just say, not so desirable. I will say I did not put a whole lot of effort into my Tinder profile, but after I came over to Thailand and then Vietnam, I had much more success. I started matching with normal looking girls. I do feel like the dating scene, especially in Da Nang, Vietnam, is a bit harder than it is in Bangkok, but I think both Da Nang, Vietnam and Bangkok are infinitely better than what it was in Las Vegas for me. And a lot of guys I've heard from say the same thing. I don't blame them. F around and find out, or don't F around is what the movement is saying. And then he's talking about a girl that had a pretty bad issue, and that did suck, but from what I remember about that article, that was more the doctor's fault than anything. Most of the men who voted for Trump weren't having anyways, so they won't be able to tell the difference. Damn, that one hits home. That was me in America. And we got a response to that, which is not completely inflammatory, and it's not crazily downvoted. That's strange for Reddit. If dating life was already hard for Trump supporters, imagine how it's going to be now. I mean, personally, for a while now, dating has been pretty difficult. And I do think there has been a movement in America that white dudes are bad. And I do think that movement has been projected pretty heavily at white women. And it is pretty odd because it feels like it was almost a flip side in Bangkok. In Da Nang, Vietnam, not so much. There's kind of this stigma with foreigners that, you know, they're just here for a few weeks and then they're going to be leaving. So, you know, there's really no point of dating them. But I will say women over here are still willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. Like, they're willing to have a conversation. You know, are you going to leave in a few weeks, or, you know, are you here long term or whatever? And I do think some women over here are looking for a temporary thing. And especially in Bangkok, more so, I think women women are open to the idea of a temporary thing. In Vietnam, I think girls are a bit more conservative and they're looking for like a more long-term thing, you know? This person's saying half of white women voted for Trump, so maybe there is a bit of a pushback against this narrative that, you know, white man bad. This dude's saying you gotta go out and support the women in your life. Shout out to men raised on early 90s values that were taught to respect women. I think men that are raised with early 90s values are way more in support of Trump's whole values on everything. So I don't know what that guy's on about. And then he's now saying that if women voted for Trump, then she's rotten to the core. That's pretty harsh. He's basically saying she cannot be saved. I don't feel that way about a woman that voted for Kamala. I think people in general are pretty easily manipulated. And I think the media did a huge campaign to try to manipulate women. So I feel like if a woman still voted for Trump despite all the media's manipulation, that's a strong woman right there. And this dude's saying 59% of white women voted for Trump. If that's the case, things are looking a lot better for the white boys. And this guy's got a really good point. The women that are doing this strike would only ever date a liberal man anyways. So the men that are being punished are the liberal men. Good luck, liberal men. Well, this dude's got a really good point here. We're going on a strike. So basically, no more being a so you're basically going to follow conservative values. Okay, well, I think that pretty much sums it up. You would think these really intelligent Redditors would have come to that conclusion and maybe not upvoted this thread so much. The thread was removed by the moderators of Our Politics for a rule-breaking title. I wonder if the moderators of Our Politics realized that this thread was actually kind of a win for the Trump boys, and it looks kind of obvious that the thread was botted, so they removed the thread. And sure enough, if we refresh Our Politics, there's threads posted about the same time that have much less upvotes that are being showed instead of the thread. That thread's just completely gone. So yeah, shout out to me for being able to cover that one before the thread was deleted. This is exclusive content that you're gonna get nowhere else on YouTube, I guess. There are obviously a lot more threads being posted, a lot more rage. People are gonna move to Canada, I guess. X the doubt on that one. I will say if you do have the means to move and you can, you know, work remote, I would highly recommend Bangkok or Da Nang, Vietnam. If you are American though, make sure you look up how to get an e-visa. And I do want to do a video on maybe that process and the whole process of living abroad and how that's been going in different situations that I've been running into. I'll probably do that after I've been living in Asia for a full year. I'm not sure where I'll post that though. Originally I was thinking I was going to post it on my main channel, but maybe I'll even post it here if this channel starts getting more traction. I will say I don't really have any plans for this channel. It's currently not even monetized and the election's over, so I'm not sure how much more Reddit rage I can cover. I usually don't find politics that interesting. Right now I think it's really funny. It's like a huge spectacle, but after a few weeks, you know, I don't think there's gonna be much to cover. But if you guys think there's something interesting covered, feel free to message me anytime in the comment section. I read every single comment via an app on my phone. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think me living over in Asia makes me a Pat? I personally think that if you're a guy living in America, you don't want to be calling me a Pat, because I'm actually doing you a favor by making it so there's less competition for you. There's one less guy in the competition pool. And if a lot more guys start moving over to Asia, that's a good thing for you. You don't want to be calling them names or anything because there's more women for you to choose from. It's actually in women's interest that you shame men and call them names for leaving. I know the guy in my comment section is just memeing around, and it was just one guy with no upvotes. So yeah, you could definitely say I'm getting one guide here. The reason why I talk about it is because I have seen the sentiment elsewhere though, and every time I hear it, I'm just like, what? Mainly when it's from dudes accusing other dudes of being a sexpat. When women do it, I understand why.